Hey there, and welcome to the Team Brad Stinson podcast. This podcast will be breaking down the Northern Michigan housing market with Air Force veteran and VA educated realtor Ben Williams. The intent of the podcast is to, actually I'm starting over. Welcome to the Team Brad Stinson podcast. This episode will be breaking down the Northern Michigan housing market with Air Force veteran Ben Williams. Ben is a realtor, and he's a VA educated realtor in Traverse City. The intent of the Team Brad Stinson podcast is to bring attention to all things veteran. My hope is to unite the veteran community by highlighting veteran-owned businesses, sharing our stories, our struggle stories, our success stories, provide education, and passing on important information as it pertains to our benefits, the benefits that we have earned. So this episode, I have Flyboy, Ben Williams, realtor, VA educated realtor, MRP, military relocation, professional realtor from Traverse City. He works for Coldwell Banker. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. My pleasure. Thanks for coming on. So,
it's always, I always humble myself whenever I'm on the same podcast with a Marine. So,
yeah, you know your role, right? So how's things going up there, man?
Kicking it, my friend. We're doing really well up here. As far as real estate's concerned, everything's smoothing right along. We have obviously a smaller market up here than downstate, but with the transactions and real estate moving is still a seller's market by far.
So how's the housing market looking for October?
So for October, we've had 249 transactions total. Of those 249 transactions, 3 were VA loans.
3?
And
Did you
only
say
3 VA transactions out of the 249 sales that we had in the last month.
Do we want to let's unpack that?
Yeah, please.
Because in comparison to the Grand Rapids market, or the West Michigan market, I should say, not just the Grand Rapids. So I pulled the stats from the West Michigan region. All right. So This month, VA of overall transactions, 1,610. Of those 1,610, 73 were VA. So that equals 8.19%.
Yeah.
So collectively, between my West Michigan region and your Northern West Michigan region, we have a combined total of 1,613 transactions, which went VA. So the overall market, transaction total, 1,859. So
yeah, out of our transactions, less than 1%. Well, I shouldn't say less than. Just over 1% was VA related. Year to date is really kind of even more. Is that year to date here in Traverse City area, the 5 counties, 4,798 transactions occurred year to date, and of those, 78 were VA loans. So that's under 2% of the total sales were VA. I think a lot of it has to do with, at least up here, we're a little bit up here in Traverse City. We're a little bit detached from a lot of the mainstream educational purposes up here. I think when I first got into the business a little over 4 years ago, there was a lot of old school thinking when it came to VA loans. And I'm finding with a majority of the realtors that I've encountered, and with some of the lenders as well, that there is somewhat of a stigmatism that is still attached to the VA loan, whereas probably downstate in the Grand Rapids area, that stigmatism has been washed away for several years now. So it's still a little bit prevalent up here than it is downstate. And that's kind of the message that I'm trying to change up here, is that we need to put more emphasis and really shine a brighter light on the VA loans. And because it's, at the end of the day, it's not the lender or the realtor that's suffering from not using the VA loan. It's the veteran who's suffering from not using the VA loan.
Correct. I mean, okay, so Mr. Realtor, what does your fiduciary responsibility mean?
My fiduciary responsibility is to my client. My client is anybody I signed an agreement with that says that I will participate and aggressively represent them to find them a property to purchase or list their property to sell. And being probably, I would say, probably 75% of my clients are veterans. I make it my purpose and passion in life to make sure that my clients are aggressively represented on my part, and educate them and help get the word out organically that that the VA is not a bad option for these folks to use.
Well, you stole my thunder on that 75% stat there. So way to go. I just want to point out,
we just fly over and take control of the situation. So
you just drop bombs from miles in the air and then fly away. So I was going to point out the fact that of all of your transactions this year, 75% have been with a veteran, which is fantastic. And you take your number, compare it to the year to date of all 5 counties in northern Michigan, you have half of it.
Absolutely.
So kudos to you, man.
Thanks.
That's fantastic. I mean, it just proves to show that you are VA educated, VA experienced, and you know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to VA. But what I was looking for out of the fiduciary responsibility is it all breaks down to, you want to do what's best for your client. What's in there, what's best for them.
Yeah,
correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. And, it's, at the end of the day, it's not my money and it's not my house. It's my client's house. And I am there to provide a service, be an asset to them. And providing a service and being an asset means giving them the best possible options out there for their situation.
Correct. So how, if you're talking to a veteran, how are you holding up, not you, but just in general,
mm-hmm.
how can someone be saying they're doing their fiduciary responsibility, meaning what's best for their client, by not presenting the VA home loan option?
I don't know. Yeah.
So why in the hell are we going to make a veteran who's eligible for a VA home loan, which is, by the way, 100% financing, which means no down payment?
Right.
Why are we going to tell them that a loan that requires a down payment of at least 3.5%, and if you don't be, so 3.5% or 20%, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the two, if you put down anywhere between 3.5 up to 19.99%, you're going to pay PMI, which is an additional of at least $100 per month. Your interest rate is going to be higher. The credit guidelines are going to be more stringent. Your purchasing power is going to decrease. I mean, there's so many things that the VA home loan offers that is your fiduciary responsibility.
Correct.
So if a veteran is in your office, it is your fiduciary responsibility to make sure that veteran takes advantage of this fantastic financing tool. All right. But the problem lies in, how do you identify a veteran? Because most veterans are not going to come out and say, I'm a veteran. It all starts with one simple question that we all need to start asking every single person that we talk to. Are you or your spouse a veteran? Because you know as well as I do, rule number one when dealing with veterans is never assume that we know our benefits. Because the fact of the matter is, we do not know our benefits.
Yeah, and it's about that due diligence and taking care of your client. And you hit the nail on the head as far as asking that one simple question right off the bat. Are you a veteran, or is you or your spouse a veteran? And that just opens up a can of opportunity for these guys and gals out there. And I think you're doing, as a realtor, if you're not opening up that door right away, you're actually doing your client a huge disservice. And as a realtor, as any professional, that providing a service like we're providing, that should be our number one goal, is to make sure that our client is getting the best possible deal and the best possible transaction out of this. So, getting back to the fiduciary side of things here, not trying to talk negative about my colleagues and fellow realtors out here, but you got to be invested in the business. You got to be educated in the business, and you got to know the options of your business for your clients. And
yes,
if you're in this business part-time and just looking for a side income, great, that's fine. I'm not going to knock you for it, but you're doing your clients a disservice if you're not dedicated to your business and getting the education that you need so you can provide the full service for your clients.
Correct.
That's one of the biggest things up here, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, is it's an old school mentality that hasn't quite shed away yet. And a lot of it just has to do with just lack of enthusiasm to get the education to move forward and help our clients.
The last 20 years, I'd say the VA has had some issues, but every loan product has had their issues. Okay. But the VA has identified those issues, and they've done everything in their power to correct those issues. So give it another chance.
Well, you know what, Brad, I did a showing over the weekend. Actually, I did a few showings, but I have I got a veteran who's relocating here. He's a pilot. He's an Army guy, and now he's working for a civilian airline, and they're going to be moving out here. But I was rocking around a couple of houses, and the first thing the wife said was, "No, this house is not going to pass VA."
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many times I hear that statement.
I know.
And I just pumped the brakes right there. I was like, "What do you mean this house won't pass VA? Oh, you got an exposed wire there." And then I went into the 3 S's, safe, sanitary, and secure, and, did my part as far as educating my buyer about the situation. And it was like a light bulb that went off on their heads. It's amazing.
Yeah. Back up.
Yeah.
Backing up.
Exactly.
So you're telling me that the VA, that exposed wire, the VA is going to call it out? You mean FHA appraiser is not going to call that out?
Yeah.
You mean conventional appraiser is not going to? There is no difference. If that wire is exposed, it's a hazard, period. Why?
And guess what? We go through an inspection period, and you can call this out to be fixed.
Exactly. Everybody's at fault when, what we're talking about here is what's called a lender overlay, or as Ben and I refer to them as, blame the VA things. Right?
Yeah.
There's only the VA, let's clarify. The VA does not give the money. The money is lent to you by a lender or a bank, either locally or nationally. Okay. The role the VA plays in all of this is they guarantee a lender if a veteran were to default or foreclose, meaning that they're just making their payment. The VA says to the lender, if you give this veteran money to purchase this house, we will guarantee, no questions asked, we will pay you 25% of the beginning loan balance. So, if a veteran forecloses on a home 25 years down the road, that lender is still going to get 25% of the original loan balance, which is phenomenal. And not only that, they wipe the loan off the books. So the lender really has nothing to lose when they get veteran a home, because not only are they guaranteed from the VA that they're going to get 25%, from the VA lender conference this year, the latest stat that came out was 0.92% of all VA loans foreclose. So that means, as a lender, I have a 99.08% chance of getting a monthly payment on time every time for the next 15, 20, 25, or 30 years, however long that term is. All right. So the lenders either, as real estate agents, as loan officers, as veterans, we are very ego driven. All right. So if we venture into a world in which we're unsure, or we're getting we don't know, as well as something else, most people will make things up.
Yeah.
Or kind of direct you into another path, meaning another loan, one in which they know. All right. Because if they display, this is, from what I've gathered, if they display competency and confidence, they're going to get word of mouth referrals.
Correct.
So they're going to say, hey, this loan's available as well. And
exactly.
No. So the VA really, truly only cares about two things from an underwriting standpoint, which means on the lending side, number one is you have to be eligible. You have to be an eligible veteran. Okay.
Right.
And number two, it's the distance between a foreclosure or bankruptcy, I should say, and the amount of time in which you can get a new home loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if the VA states it must be 12 months past the date of discharge. Okay. So if we filed bankruptcy today, 12 months from now, the VA says we will guarantee you a loan. Okay. Right. However, in the guidelines, it states the veteran must have displayed the ability to reestablish and display financial responsibility. From the lender side, it's very, very rare that you are able to provide both of those. Okay. So most lenders require 2 years past. Now that is an overlay. The VA is saying 12 months. Almost every lender that you talk to is going to say 2 years.
Exactly.
Right? Same with FICO score. Believe it or not, the VA does not require a FICO score.
Right.
Okay? So if you find a lender, you probably find somebody nationally that'll lend money to a veteran with a 351 FICO score, which is 1 point higher than the bare minimum.
Right.
The VA will guarantee that loan if that veteran forecloses or defaults up to 25%. No questions asked. But almost every lender that you talk to is a bare minimum FICO score of 580.
Right.
Or 620. 580 seems to be the new norm across the board-ish. Me at the Veterans Homefront, we do 580.
Yeah.
Okay? There are some that go down to 500, but if you go down to 500, then there's a lot more requirements, like you need reserves and everything else. So those are overlays.
Yeah.
Blame the VA for things. Those are overlays. Right?
Yeah, and that's another common overlay is that I see is differences between lenders. One example, I got a veteran who is only able to use his basic entitlements, and the basic entitlements only gets him $144,000 for a home. So most of the homes up here in that price range are either going to be modular or manufactured homes. Typically, your national lenders, i.e. One lender has 4 initials, and then other one that, closely represent themselves with the VA. They will not lend on a manufactured home or a mobile home, so to speak.
Yep.
Now you get a local lender, will do it.
Yeah. I mean, chapter 12 of the VA Lender Handbook.
Exactly. But here's the deal though. The message that a veteran hears when he goes to a large lender like that is, well, the VA won't lend me the money on this.
Correct.
I have no options left. I don't know what I'm going to do because my basic entitlements won't allow me to purchase this, and I might as well just rent for the rest of my life because the VA won't allow me to. Instead of the lender educating,
correct,
or instead of the realtor educating the veteran, that there are other options here.
Yeah. So the veteran hears no, and then therefore they're going to tell their other veteran friends. So it just spirals out of control. And then even on the flip side, I mean, you have your eligibility documents and things like that. Like, a realtor needs to understand what this is, and if a person is fully pre-approved or not. If they don't have if a veteran does not have their eligibility documents, you should absolutely positively not be shopping for homes and placing offers on homes, because I don't even know how many times I've gotten a frantic panic call. We're 5 days from closing and we can't get a COE. Well, the question is, why the hell are you house hunting? Right? So, exactly. So now, either A, it's going to take us 2 weeks to get the necessary paperwork to turn into the VA for the COE, or B, the veteran is not eligible. Either way, we have 2 agents that are involved that are now scorn about the VA. Yep. And when you're upset or mad or have a bad experience, you're likely to tell up to 20 to 25 people or more about this negative experience, and it just spirals out of control. When in all actuality, it's just the lack of education. So the big thing is identifying and making sure you're talking to a VA educated loan officer and or realtor.
Exactly right. And that goes back to the education, getting the message out there and letting folks know that there are options out there. And you hit the nail on the head earlier. It's like I said, a very ego-driven type of industry. And, if we can, since the realtor or loan officer can't seem to say, you know what, this is not my cup of tea, but I got this cup of tea for you. It's just the best thing that we can do is just continue educating the populace and the people out there as much as we can.
Or how about this? Eat a piece of freaking humble pie and ask somebody.
I think I have a better chance of hell freezing over.
It just blows me away that people cannot ask for help. This industry is highly regulated with rules and regulations and laws. There's no way somebody should be able, the expectation is, absolutely everything about every single product at the drop of a hat. Okay. You have to be able to, it just blows me away that people just can't ask for help. That's all it takes. If you just say, hey, I have a question in regards to the VA home loan, I am more than willing to drop everything to help you.
And I find that too, in the same sense of it, with the veterans as well. I mean, I understand they don't know what they don't know, and it's they've been fed a bunch of misinformation, so they're almost sheepish to ask some of the preliminary questions, I would think. But when it comes to professionals who get paid for doing this job day in and day out, who have the honor of working with these veterans, I would think just humble yourself just a little bit. Just say, hey, I don't really know what's going on. I don't, is this the best route for this veteran? Or, let me talk to my senior loan officer or something like that. Just put yourself out there, and the world's not going to stop turning just because you ask for help. And to be honest with you, I have much more respect for somebody who says, let me find out that information for you. That's just my opinion. So
there's absolutely nothing wrong with the fact that you don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I showed you the VA Lender Handbook and how thick that thing is.
Yeah.
It is massive. I had to buy a 6-inch 3-ring binder to put in all the paperwork, and it's printed on front and back,
right,
on both sides of the page. So for somebody to expect you as a loan officer or as an agent to know everything that's in there when asked a question and be able to respond with the right answer within 10 to 15 seconds is that's not the right way to think about it.
Yeah. It's
because, I specialize in VA financing. I'm in it every day, and I know I can regurgitate a lot of the information the right way when asked, but there are times when I have to go, well, that's a great question.
Exactly.
Let me look into it.
Right.
Because there's just so many things and so many layers in which you have to dive into. And the way that the VA guidelines are written, they're written in the complete exact opposite way of all the others. Okay. So the other loan programs, their guidelines are saying what you can do.
Right.
The VA Lender Handbook is telling you what you cannot. Everything else is up to interpretation. Okay. So that's where we get a lot of the miseducation, misunderstanding, so on and so forth. So I am happy to always call the Regional Loan Center, and they are always available to talk to Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Right.
Right. And that's if you have a condo question, if you have an appraisal question, if you have any general question, and lenders, real estate agents, veterans can call them and ask questions in regards to eligibility, any question, and they are awesome. They're fantastic people. So I'll post that number in the podcast description. If you're a lender or real estate agent, it's option 2. If you're a veteran, it's option 1.
That's the other thing as well. I'm trying to hit on what you're saying there, but when you work with a group of people, like you and I have a really good relationship, and other lenders out there like Military Mortgage Bootcamp, when myself as a realtor can tap into that resource, that collective knowledge of many different loan officers who specialize in that, it makes me more
powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it helps the veteran out so much that I can say 1 second and I can go on to Facebook, or I can text you or whatever, and I can get the answer just like that.
I mean, how freaking cool is that alumni group?
Oh, it's amazing.
My gosh. That's the power of Military Mortgage Bootcamp. You throw a question out there, and within 5 minutes, you have at least 20 responses of, hey, I just went through this, private message me or call me.
Right.
And they'll walk you through it. And it's a collective group of loan officers and real estate agents from across the country that specialize in VA financing. So never am I ever going to say that I am an expert, other than when we're talking about shooting a rifle at 500 yards. Okay. So I'm never going to tell you I'm a VA home loan expert, because again, humble,
Exactly.
there's the minute I say I'm an expert, you're going to ask me a question and it's going to make me look like a complete fool.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm not going to know the answer, but I can honestly say with confidence that group of Military Mortgage Bootcamp alumni, people that have been through the boot camp like you and I have, collectively, we are experts.
Absolutely.
There's people that specialize. There's a guy down in Florida who specializes in the VA renovation loan. I have no freaking clue about the VA renovation loan because I don't offer it at Benchmark. So I don't know. But if I get a veteran that reaches out to me and they ask me questions about the VA renovation loan, you bet your ass I'm getting on the phone with John David.
Yeah.
Okay. Same with new construction loans.
Yeah.
We don't offer it at Benchmark, but I know people in that group that do, and I get on the phone with them and I connect them if I need to. So that's the beauty of that group, is we're doing this every single day across the country.
Yeah.
Multiple times a day. So there's the chances of somebody in that group knowing the avenue to go down
Exactly.
is extremely likely.
Well, I like going into that group too and just reading some of these questions that are posed and then reading the answers, because that's just more knowledge for me. So somebody, brings something to the group and it's a question and I was like, wow, I didn't think about that, but that's a good feather in my cap. I'll read that answer and I'm able to, when I approach that issue, then I know, okay, this is what came out of it. So I really enjoy that group, and it's definitely opened my eyes up and made me more valuable to my clients, especially the veterans out there that
exactly
rightfully deserve better service, to be honest with you.
So Ben and I are in the works of bringing Military Mortgage Bootcamp up to Traverse City area for a 3-hour CE class to provide education on the VA home loan and bust the 6 most common myths that surround the VA home loan, along with some other nuggets and tips and tricks, how to identify veterans, how to grow your business by serving more veterans, and how to deal with veterans. I mean, that's a big component, because there's many factors that I believe go into the fact that, the VA numbers are so low.
Yeah.
All right. And it's across the board. Everybody, there's nobody to point fingers at. I mean, I'll point fingers at myself because I'm going to take ownership of it and say it's because I haven't educated enough. I haven't done enough. There's more that I can do. So how can I do more? Let's get out there, educate, teach more classes, spread the word. I've united the Benchmark tribe underneath the umbrella of the Veterans Homefront. So now we have a loud voice. We have many people underneath our umbrella here at the Veterans Homefront here locally in the state of Michigan. And then my team of elite VA home loan specialists from across the country. I mean, these guys are freaking awesome. You've met them all. And they are, each one of us are unique. We have our own unique skill sets, but collectively we're pretty badass.
Well, that's what makes a great team. It's whether it's a small team or a large team, you got individuals who are specialized in something or know just a little bit. And that's what makes it a really powerful team. Kind of like you were saying about the Military Mortgage Bootcamp alumni group. It's collectively, you're an expert. So
and the people on my team are the elite from that MMBC group.
Yeah.
That was part of the reason why I switched companies. I mean, number one, when you have your 2 biggest mentors throughout your personal and professional career, calling you and saying you're coming over, when, what date? Roger that. Just tell me a day and I'm there. I don't even need an office. What is this about? I didn't even ask you those questions. Roger that.
Yeah.
Win. It wasn't even a question.
Right.
But this whole, these guys are phenomenal, and I've looked up to every single one of them. And if you want to be better in what you're currently doing, either personally or professionally, you need to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Right. People that you aspire to be, because before you know it, it pulls you up.
Oh, big time. And it really, when you have, like you were saying, those people pull you up, and it just drives you that much harder to be that much better. And the biggest thing for me was when I found my why, and I found my purpose, so to speak. And once that was established, there was nothing that was going to stop my passion. Nothing that was going to prevent me from doing everything that I can. I have no control over the lender next door. I have no control over the realtor next door or the veteran. I have control over myself and what I can do to bring a better product, better service to everybody. So whatever, like, kind of piggybacking off what you said, what can I do better? Get out there and educate more, get out there and do this more, get out there and do that more. And that's exactly the mindset of your group and the military mortgage group, and the people there, surrounding yourself with those people. It just drives you that much harder, saying, what can I do better? What can I do more? Where can
I mean, you have to own it.
Yeah.
Extreme ownership. Jocko Willink, great
right.
book. Pick it up.
Still read that book.
It is, or audio on Audible. It's an audio book too. It's a great book. It really helps bring a lot of things to light, and how to really just take ownership of your life in your career path. But with me, I'll end with two things. Number one, before we close off what we're just talking about, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong damn room.
Absolutely.
How much growth are you going to have being the smartest, the best?
Exactly right.
You're going to plateau. There's going to be nobody that's going to challenge you.
Yeah.
You're going to fizzle out. That's what happened with me in my old job. I reached the pinnacle and I needed more.
Yeah.
I was burning it on both ends, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It just got to the point where I dreaded going into work. And the minute I said I dreaded going into work, I was going to leave.
Yeah.
The opportunity to become a loan officer came around. So your why statement, why is that so important? This all ties into identifying and working with veterans, or just people in general. All right. If you don't know why you do what you do and why you're doing it, you're going to come off sleazy or cheesy or sales pitchy or just unconfident, incompetent, right? There's so many different things that a person can read just from your nonverbal cues, because you don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, right? So when you identify your why, that is not your forever why.
Exactly.
Okay, because my why statement is massive now. It is huge. Okay, but when I first became a VA home loan specialist, why do I want to be a VA home loan specialist? Because that's a very hard thing for us veterans to do.
Yeah.
Is, you don't want to use your time in service and pimp it out.
Right.
Try to make $1 off the time, my time in service, because that's not what this is all about. And I had a hard time really trying to get that out of my head. Like, how can I help my brothers in arms in the mortgage world without sounding like a douchebag? Correct. I mean, so the biggest part of that was identifying my why statement.
Yeah.
Okay. My why is, I know the intrinsic value it brought me when I purchased the home that I currently live in. It allowed me to acclimate to my surroundings and actually feel like I was a part of the community again.
Yeah.
Okay. So for 5 years, I struggled with transitioning and PTSD and everything else. The minute I purchased a home, now I feel like I know I have it gives me a sense of purpose.
Right.
I have a piece of land that I can take care of, so I have the nicest yard on the block, by the way. Always the first one to have the driveway shoveled. But, so that was my original one. So because I knew the intrinsic value it brought me, you bet your ass I'm going to pay it forward and do that for my brothers in arms on a daily basis. With every ounce of my being, that's what I'm going to freaking do.
Absolutely right.
Okay. But now it has evolved, right? So I still have the same core, still the same base, but it's even bigger now, right? Because as Marines, we live each day to honor the legacies of the Marines that went before us.
Yeah.
From day one at Bootcamp, we're told stories of the great Marine battles where we earned the nickname Devil Dog, where John Basleone burned his hands with machine guns, won the medal, was awarded the Medal of Honor, so on and so forth. So And every night for 90 straight days, we told Chesty Puller, "Good night, Chesty, wherever you are." Right? Because Chesty Puller is a legend. It's not, you really don't appreciate it or really truly understand why this is happening until you earn the title of Marine, because Marines live each day to honor those legacies. Okay. Not only that, we move forward with the Marines on our right and left. So we move forward and to honor those legacies with these Marines on our right and left. And that's what I do today. So AP and Jay McMakin have really blazed the trail to become a veteran advocate. They have worked tireless hours and they've put in the work.
Yeah.
They've created the trail. Now it's my responsibility to honor their legacy by bringing up the other loan officers around me and move forward, making that path into a 8-lane highway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And that's, kind of tying into everything, so it's just makes you want to do better. And that's one thing that I really, truly appreciate, even working with a group of great guys there at Military Mortgage Bootcamp, but it's always taken the best of everything and making it better. And one of the things that I've always truly admired about the Marine Corps was their honoring the legacy of the members before them. And as veterans, I think that should be something that veterans as a whole should be doing, not just the Marines, but also other branches of service, and honoring those that came before us, who have fallen before us, and who given their lives for us so we can have the opportunities we have today. And my personal belief, and kind of living off the spirit of Jocko, is that I want to live each and every day to honor their sacrifice and do not dishonor them for any stretch of imagination when I feel like I got to mislead somebody, or I got to take a time off, or I just don't feel like doing blah, 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 blah. No, every day you should be honoring either yourself and the men and women that came before you. So
yes, at 100%. We could talk about this.
Yeah, exactly.
We might even have to do a podcast on this just by itself.
Oh, I know.
Let's wrap this up here. To recap, we got to really start wrapping our head around the VA stats, because it's low here in West Michigan, but it's even lower in Northern Michigan. So we got to really wrap our heads around how can we improve that. And I think you by yourself, you're doing some fantastic things up north. But you're only one person, man. So I'm all board. I'm on board. I bring everything that I bring to the table, along with the freaking powerhouses behind me. So we will brainstorm some ideas offline, and we'll get something going. But in the meantime, there is a veteran home buying seminar class planned for January 18th.
Correct.
Is our quarterly one. The last one, we had a few attendees, which is great. We got the help of a surviving spouse, which is even better. Gave her the right information, set her on her way. So we'll hit more marketing and videos and things when probably next month. Working on scheduling a 3-hour CE, how to present a VA offer sellers will accept. Course up in Traverse City, date to be determined yet. And lastly, I'd like to wrap everything up with a nonprofit veteran event coming up here in West Michigan called Wreaths Across America. Now, you may or may not have seen the video that I posted, the video challenge that I posted last week. For every wreath that is purchased, your name is entered into a drawing, and the grand prize drawing will be on December 15th at the wreath laying ceremony here in Grand Rapids at the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans National Cemetery. So what is Wreaths Across America? Wreaths Across America is a nonprofit organization that places a wreath on the tombstones of fallen veterans or soldiers, okay, in the national cemeteries across the country at the same time. So here in West Michigan, we're doing 12 noon. In California, it'll be 9 a.m. So it's the national cemeteries, not the state or local. Okay, so places like Arlington, Grand Rapids Home for Veterans is one of them down here in Grand Rapids. They added another national cemetery. Chapel Hill is what it's called. It's off of 28th Street. It's East Grand Rapids. December 15th, 12 p.m. noon. And what they need is help with wreaths. They need wreath sponsorship. So I issued the challenge for every wreath that is purchased. I need a proof of purchase. So either a screenshot or you can just forward me the proof that you purchased 1, 2, however many wreaths. Your name will go into the drawing. Grand prize winner will win a wooden American flag that was donated by Chris Hollis from Team Hollis. Some other prizes include a 1-year Black Card membership to Planet Fitness. And there are a few other gift cards that we're still working out the parameters for. So great opportunity to earn some really cool prizes just before the holidays that you can gift away or you can utilize for yourself. You can find that information either in the podcast link or Brad Stinson, VA Home Loan Specialist. Go to the events tab.
That's a great event. I'm looking forward to participating in that. So,
yeah, buddy, come on down.
Absolutely,
it's a family-friendly event as well. It's very family-friendly. I'm bringing my 4-year-old. There were kids there last year. They're placing wreaths on the tombstones. They're just a great way for you as a person to give thanks, and a great way for you as a parent to demonstrate how to be a patriot.
Absolutely right. Couldn't agree more.
So, any final thoughts, Ben?
No, sir. I think we did a really good job of, really highlighting the need to get these numbers up with these VA, the veterans, and using their VA home loans here in Michigan as overall. I'm super excited about our upcoming events, and I really, truly appreciate you having me on today.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. I'm glad you haven't kicked my ass to the curb. So,
not hardly, man. I like you said, when you surround yourself with great people, great things happen, and that's the reason why I enjoy being around you guys. And
hey, thanks, man.
So,
is that a compliment?
Take it as you will.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for listening, guys. My name is Brad Stinson, VA Home Loan Specialist. Ben Williams, Coldwell banker, Traverse City. He is a military relocation professional, realtor, and VA educated. So our contact information is in the podcast description. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. Semper Fi. Bye, Ben.
See you, man. Thanks.
Yep.